Years ago, I used WeChat to order these dumplings using that QR code.
Oh, they made it! Ooh, stereo!
Hello. Ah, there we go. Oh, silly there. It's coming. Here we go. Oh my God, let me hold, please. You know what to do. Oh, that's right. There you are. Baby. Hey, mate. Yeah, good. How are you? Who wants it? Yeah! What's wrong? Oh, fuck.
This week, after a successful trial, we have rolled out the NHS COVID Pass. This allows people safely and securely to demonstrate their COVID status, whether it's proof of vaccination status, test results, or natural immunity. People will also be able to demonstrate proof of a negative test result. Although we don't encourage its use in essential settings like supermarkets, other businesses and organisations in England can adopt the pass as a means of entry where it's suitable for their venue or premises, and when they can see its potential to keep their clients or their customers safe. But for proprietors of venues and events where large numbers are likely to gather and likely to mix with people from outside their households for prolonged periods, deploying the pass is the right thing to do. The pass has an important role to play in slowing the spread of the virus, and so we reserve the right to mandate its use in the future. Next, Mr. Speaker, I'd like to update the House on vaccination as a condition of entry. At the end of September, we plan to make full vaccination a condition of entry to those high-risk settings where large crowds gather and interact. As a condition of entry to these venues, people will need to show that they are fully vaccinated, and proof of a negative test will no longer be sufficient.
I don't want to have to close nightclubs again, as they have elsewhere, but it does mean nightclubs need to do the socially responsible thing and make use of the NHS COVID Pass, which shows proof of vaccination, a recent negative test, or natural immunity as a means of entry. As we said last week, we do reserve the right to mandate certification at any point if it's necessary to reduce transmission.
As Australia debates tightening its borders, Europe's are opening up. The EU's vaccine passport, otherwise known as its digital COVID certificate, is being rolled out over the next 6 weeks. Its quick response code is equipped with a digital signature key where an individual's vaccine information is stored. It verifies that a traveler has been vaccinated against COVID-19 and that they've recently had a swab test for the virus. If they were infected, it will verify they've since recovered. The certificate is free of charge and will allow for quarantine-free travel.
A unique approach by the Quebec government on vaccine passports, a first in the country.
If cases start to spike there again in the fall, the government won't shut down businesses, but if people want to go to the gym, for instance, they'll have to prove they are fully vaccinated. CTV's Christina Succi following this for us tonight. Christina.
Graham, the news is not a total shock. For weeks now, Quebec had been discussing the move, officials saying it will help keep businesses there open as they are bracing for a possible surge and potential fourth wave in the fall. Of course, this is part of a larger debate. There are suggestions restrictions based on proof of vaccination is a potential violation of constitutional rights. But the province's health minister says the vaccine passport will only be required if the situation deteriorates.
We will start using the vaccination passport only when everyone has had the opportunity to be vaccinated in 2 doses, that is to say, September 1st. We will continue to act according to the epidemiological situation. In other words, the vaccination passport will be used if and only if the transmission or outbreaks justify it in a sector or in a territory.
So proof of vaccination could be required for people to access gyms, restaurants, bars, and festivals, but officials say they will not be used to restrict access to any essential services. But Quebec officials tonight are hoping this will be the incentive younger people need to go out and get their shots, and it could come into effect as early as September 1st.
Charter City is stunned by the sudden rollout of Rook Unlimited's most fantastic device ever. The Smart Mark. Throw your other devices away because the Smart Mark is more than just a phone. It's part of you. Use it as cash. Book your travel. And even shoot video. Distribution points are all over the city. And don't let the lines discourage you. The Rook Unlimited Smart Mark is worth the wait.
I never realized how wonderful technology could make me feel. The Smart Mark has brought order to my life.
And the best part? It's absolutely free. A gift of thanks to our city from Rook Unlimited.
23% of the population has been given the Smart Mark, number 1.
Time to test our system, number 6. The Flex Fighters are out there somewhere. Teaming up with Jonathan Rook. Let's put our new recruits to work, subtly.
We should find the Flex Fighters.
I ought to find the Flex Fighters.
We should find the Flex Fighters. We should find the Flex Fighters.
Growing up in this city, the streets of Old Town, I saw the worst mankind had to offer. Chaos, disorder. I vowed to make it all change. To make it all better. All these years working in secret, rising up the ranks of the tech men. It was all leading to this day. Order has finally been established in Charter City. No child will have to fear for their safety again.
The people owe you the greatest of debts, number 1, for liberating them from the chaos of their lives.
You guys love new tech. You didn't want to get smart marked?
No way. That's clearly some shady biz.
You call yourself a man of science. World order is our destiny. Submit to a Smart Mark and join the glorious victory of order over chaos, or you will be eliminated.
Grandpa, Mr. Savick, where is everybody?
They all went to get those foolish new devices.
What? No, they can't. Grandpa, those things are dangerous. It's a conspiracy. Mind control.
I knew it.
3 hours is enough time for us to get to our families. Maybe we can stop them before they get marked.
They seem to be establishing checkpoints of some kind. This is how they keep order.
This is the nightmare I warned you about. People think smart marks are brand new Rook tech that will improve their lives. They don't know they're being tricked.
All smart marks so far. But your chip makes it possible to control everyone in Charter City, whether they're marked or not.
Everywhere she goes, Oh-Young Hao-Yu is followed. What she buys, how she behaves, is tracked and scored to show how responsible and trustworthy she is. It's called the social credit system, and in one version now being tested, a person's reputation is scored on a scale of 350 to 950. And Hao-Yu, with a good score of 752, is okay with it. In fact, most people are.
It's a mechanism pushes you to become a better citizen.
It's big data meets Big Brother, expanding how the government monitors, understands, and ultimately controls its 1.4 billion citizens. Thanks to advances in artificial intelligence and facial recognition, and a web of more than 200 million surveillance cameras.
Are people bothered by privacy concerns?
We think the lot of camera keep the safety is really good. We can accept it.
Companies are experimenting with the algorithms to help the government create the new national social credit system. The government also has pilot projects. In one, citizens are required to do hours of unpaid work to get benefits. And scores are docked for things like littering, a messy yard, gossip, even jaywalking. Video of offenders is shown on the local news. And information collectors like Zhou Ai-Ni are paid to report on their neighbors. Her quota, 10 entries a month. Like the man who carried a drunk person home. A good deed, she says. Good social credit gets rewarded with perks like cheap loans and travel deals. But a bad score means public shame and worse. Huang Huijun lost a court case and didn't pay. Now he's on a government blacklist. I can't buy airplane or train tickets, he says, and the list goes on. Being discredited makes it hard to get a job or put kids in top schools. The social credit system will go nationwide next year, and few here are willing to criticize it. Something that may pose a risk itself for a bad score and the life that comes with it. Janice Mackey-Frere, NBC News, Beijing.
A radical plan to crack down on social media abuse is being considered by the federal government. For more, Nine's Oliver Haig joins us live in Adelaide. Ollie, how will it work?
Layla, good morning. Essentially, it will work the same as a passport. Australians forced to submit 100 points of identification like their driver's licence or passport when using social media accounts like Facebook and Twitter. Now, police would have access to those social media accounts, and it's all part of a crackdown on online abuse. Now, users could be liable for defamation suits or even criminal prosecution, and it's all part of a plan hoping to deter people from engaging in bad behaviour. Now, the recommendations were handed down by a federal parliamentary inquiry. They're reforms that are being considered by the Morrison government, with the chairman saying there is merit to remove the veil of being anonymous. Layla?
Here we have in the Telegraph. Now, I've been warning about the app, the NHS app, how it's going to be used as a jab passport, which they've now announced, but also as a digital ID, which they announced last week. It's going to track you 24/7, a digital prison. It's going to shut you out and cut off your access to services if you don't obey and do as you're told. The plan is for a cashless society that will also be tied into this app. And then if you allow yourself to be caught in this digital prison, they will control your behaviour and what you do, what you buy, how you live, how much energy you use, etc., with a social credit system. That's what I've been saying up until today. I've always said this was the plan. And lo and behold, as if by magic, today we've seen this announcement. This is the first mention of this. It says here, families could get rewards for healthy living in a new war on obesity. And it says here, UK puppet tyrant Boris Johnson is to launch a government-backed rewards program for families switching to healthier foods and exercising under radical plans to tackle Britain's obesity crisis. You notice what they're saying here. You notice it is all focused on healthy eating and on making people healthier. You know, it's for your own good. Of course, there's no mention of energy consumption, of energy measuring and carbon zero, which is what this is to be used for, okay? It will be used to determine how much energy you use, and if you don't use too much, you'll get a reward. But if you use too much, you'll get a penalty. Maybe you'll end up paying higher rates if you use too much energy, if you boil the kettle too many times. That's the idea. Anyhow, it continues in the article. The scheme will monitor family supermarket spending, rewarding those who reduce their calorie intake and buy more fruit and vegetables. And you can guarantee they will penalize you for buying meat and reward you for buying insects in the future, because that's what they want you to do. They want you to stop eating meat. Oh, and it says you can get more points if you walk to work. Okay, and not use public transport. It continues under the new plan. Loyalty points accumulated would be exchanged for discounts, free tickets, and other incentives. Basically, giving you little treats like you're a little dog in order to train you to do whatever they want you to do.
They use their tongues to deceive. The venom of snakes is on their lips. Their mouths are full of bitterness and curses, and in their paths nothing but fear and misery, and the fear of God is not before their eyes. They have taken the hearts and minds of our leaders. They recruited the rich and the powerful, and they have blinded us to the truth. Our human spirit is corrupted. Why do we worship greed? Because outside the limit of our sight, feeding off us, perched on top of us from birth to death, are our owners. They have us. They control us. They are our masters. Wake up. They're all about you, all around you. Our impulses are being redirected. We are living in an artificially induced state of consciousness that resembles sleep. The movement was begun 8 months ago by a small group of scientists who discovered, quite by accident, these signals being sent through. The poor and the underclass are growing. Racial justice and human rights are non-existent. They have created a repressive society, and we are their unwitting accomplices. Their intention to rule rests with the annihilation of consciousness. We have been lulled into a trance. They have made us indifferent to ourselves, to others. We are focused only on our own gain. Please understand, they are safe as long as they are not discovered. That is their primary method of survival. To keep us asleep, keep us selfish, keep us sedated. We are their cattle. We are being bred for slavery. We cannot break their signal. The signal must be shut off at the source. They live. We sleep.